Hi guys, welcome to another episode of KLINGSPOR's Tech Talk. I'm Nick DeMars, and I have with me today Chris Smith. Chris is with KLINGSPOR's woodworking shop, and in the future you'll probably see us doing some more of this type of thing together, woodworking shop and KLINGSPOR Braces Incorporated. As you can see here on the table today, we're going to be talking about jigsaw blades and reciprocating saw blades. And we have just added a new line of both of these blades, and they're fantastic. We have and I'll explain as we go along about the special material that makes up KLINGSPOR jigsaw and reciprocating saw blades. Chris, let me ask you this just to get it started, and I think I know the answer to this question because you and I have done a good bit of work together. Have you ever broken a jigsaw blade?
On more than one occasion, Nick.
Yes, me too. I could just about name the place and
some I broke when you weren't around.
Oh, and here you were supposed to be working that whole time. So when you get to talking about jigsaw blades and reciprocating saw blades, and you look out there in the market, what you're going to find is that most of them are made of three main types of material, the standards throughout the market today. Basically what those are is high carbon steel, high speed steel, and bimetal. The high carbon steel, it's very flexible material, so breakage is not a big issue with that particular type. But at the same time, it doesn't hold the sharpness of the tooth as long as the other two. High speed steel is just the opposite. High speed steel is not very flexible at all, and chances are if you've broken a blade, it was the high speed steel blade because those will break quite easily. But they do hold the sharpness of the tooth a lot longer period of time. And then somewhere along the line, somebody came up with the idea of combining those two types of materials, the high carbon steel and the high speed steel, so you get the qualities of both. You get a long-lasting, sharp tooth, plus you get the flexibility, so the breakage is not quite such an issue. So what you're going to see out there in the market today is if you go down to your local box store or wherever you get your jigsaw blades or reciprocating saw blades from, and you're cutting a piece of metal, you're going to want to get a BIM, a bimetal blade. The bimetal blades do a lot better cutting metal than any of the others. Sometimes the high-speed steel can be used for that as well. And then you've got your blades similar to this here that are used in construction, or should I say destruction? Yes. Might be a better word for it, when you're just cutting things apart. This particular blade here is what's called Chromium Vanadium. Chromium Vanadium, what they do is they take a medium carbon steel blade and they add chromium to it. What chromium does, chromium is one of the big things they add to steel to make it stainless steel. And so of course it makes it corrosion resistant, it makes it tougher and stronger and so on and so forth. But vanadium, the biggest quality of the vanadium that's added to these blades is it makes it more resistant to wear. Anytime you're talking tools and you can get something that's resistant to wear, that's a big deal. In the sales that we've had of these blades so far, we're getting fantastic reports back from customers saying they wish they'd have found these years ago. So that chromium vanadium is huge.
And it sounds like something that would be out of a superhero movie, but it really does make a difference in the life of a real world person using these things. I mean, for instance, Nick and I, we've installed countless countertops with laminate on the top of them. Well, it's horrible to try to cut out that sinkhole, and the last thing you end up doing is popping that blade out, either breaking it, or you have to take it out and replace it because it's dull halfway through the cut. Or it takes forever to get the job done. Well, that stronger metal, the better quality of metal, the better grade, and the tooth design, it minimizes that. The other problem you get when you're making curves, for instance, and you well know this, is the blade wants to bend in the middle of a curve if you're going through thicker materials. You know, a lot of people have gone to different jigsaws to help mitigate some of that because they may have lower support bushings on the bottom, but the better quality blade will minimize that rotation and minimize that bending and flexing that occurs during a normal cut. One, because you're not building up heat, and two, the higher quality of the steel that it's made out of makes that cut a whole lot better.
Yeah. And another thing the vanadium does is helps that blade to run cooler than it normally would. You know, anytime you can eliminate heat from a cutting tool, you're going to make it last longer and so on. And we talked a little bit earlier about the flexibility. That's a big deal, because if you have a blade that's too flexible, you get that run out like Chris was talking about. And then the cut that you're making won't be 90 degrees from the surface that you're cutting on. But if you don't have that flexibility, like we started out with, you could conceivably break some blades, and I've definitely broken my fair share. We're excited about this line of blades. They're doing really well for us so far. You know, if you are looking for a different type of jigsaw blade, you're not satisfied with what you have, I encourage you to check these out. See your local KLINGSPOR representative or drop by KLINGSPOR's woodworking shop, and they've got some fine stuff down there too.
Yeah, if you are local to the Hickory area or the Cary, North Carolina area, Winston-Salem or Asheville, we've got stores in all 4 locations, so you can come in and actually get your hands on a pack of these, check them out. Typically, they're probably going to be in a rack, all right next to each other. It's kind of hard to miss, but really good results on our side as well. We've had fantastic feedback from our customers, liking the sharpness, the longevity, and how well they cut. So, you know, worth looking into if you're having problems with your current jigsaw blade or your reciprocating saw blade. KLINGSPOR's new jigsaw and reciprocating saw blade line is fantastic.
In writing promotional materials for this line, biggest question I've come up with is, why is jigsaw 1 word and reciprocating saw 2 words? Just doesn't seem fair to me.
It'd be too many vowels and consonants in reciprocating saw if they put it together.
And I have to stop and think how to spell reciprocating every time I do it.
Well, see, we in the industry just call that a recip saw.
Or a sawzall.
Well, that's a brand, but yes, we can go with that.
Yeah, that's what most people know it as, a sawzall. And that was what, was that a Milwaukee product?
I don't remember. It was before my time.
Yeah, me too. I've slept since then.
With the right blade in your saw, whether it's a sawzall, recip saw, reciprocating saw, or jigsaw, look for the little yellow packaging and the spur on the label, and you won't be disappointed.
We do have a couple of blades that cut in a downward direction, so if you're trying to leave a clean cut on the top of your workpiece, that downward cut helps a ton. And as with any other saw blade, you know, the more teeth you have on the blade, the cleaner cut you're going to get naturally. We actually have a couple of blades that we carry as well that have teeth not only on the front side like you would normally see on a jigsaw, but they also have them on the back side. And that gives you advantages. When you turn in a sharp corner, those teeth on the back side help you swing through that sharp corner a lot tighter. And also, you know, a lot of times you'll turn a corner and you'll want to back up and square that corner off. That gives you the option to do that as well.
Yeah, one of the things, if you do happen to be in a retail situation where you see these hanging, you can look for the color code. I mean, metal is going to be your blue color, your laminate, and it's going to be your gray, and then the wood will be your green, and then they have what they consider an all cut that'll have a black label. And if you're familiar with other KLINGSPOR products, that Supra and Special designation, those are also designated that way as well. So if you're familiar with the line, that makes it an easy way to navigate in to check out the jigsaw blades. And if you are a KLINGSPOR abrasives customer, just get with your sales rep. They can certainly help you out and get you the right blade for your application.
And I'm glad you mentioned that, because it's easily noticeable that a lot of thought and effort has been put in to determining what the correct configuration, as far as how many teeth and the angle of the teeth and stuff like that, works best for which applications. And they've tried to make this as easy as possible with the color coding and the, you know, information we have available and so on and so forth. So I guess after we get done here, we're going to leave and go cut some stuff. I've cut some stuff with these already, and I've been pretty impressed myself. And I've used a lot of jigsaw and reciprocating saw blades over the years. So.
Well, since this one fell out of the package, does that mean I get to take it home?
Yeah. Pocket that bad boy.
There we go. Y'all didn't see a thing.
All right, guys. Well, I guess that's about all we have for today. If you have any more questions, you can email those to techtalk@klingspor.com. That's TECHTALK@klingspor.com, and we will promptly answer your questions. Thanks for joining us today. For KLINGSPOR Abrasives, I'm Nick DeMars.
And representing KLINGSPOR's Woodworking Shop, I am Chris.